Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. A very good one indeed. As the New York Knicks just defeated the San Antonio Spurs 111-96. And I was just telling these guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the best games that I've seen the New York Knicks play in a while. A complete basketball game. Couple of lapses here and there. That's to be expected no matter what basketball game you're playing. You're going to have a couple of lapses. The Knicks played a complete game tonight, got a much-needed win over the San Antonio Spurs. They inch closer to being 500. They're now 20-21. All right, they got a tough matchup in the Dallas Mavericks coming up in a couple of days to see if they can climb back to 500. But they did what they had to do tonight against a team that's sub-500. Let's get into it, man. Let's talk about it. I got a bunch of people here. We got Tony Crow. We got Ron and John from Still Knicks fans. Yeah, we about to go ahead and rock this out, man. Fellas, how are you doing this evening? Let me pull this screen up. Here we go. Tony Crow, what's popping with you, bro?
What's going on, Sam? Shout out to the chat. Still Knicks fans as the duo in the building for the first time. Salute to you guys.
Yeah, man.
And Sam, I'm always excited, man. Your blackest time.
Appreciate you, man. I'm going to start with John because this is his first time here on the post-game show.
Yes, give it up.
So I got to get to John before we get to Ron. You know what I mean? So, John, what's going on with you, bro?
Doing well, man. Appreciate you for having me on, man. I feel blessed to be here, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt.
It was a good game, man. It was a good game. Like the action, like that everyone was engaged and sort of, playing off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And just overall, good game, man. I'm sure we're going to speak a little bit, get more in depth in it. But, yeah, overall, great game, man.
Yeah, great game. Ron, what's up, man? Got yourself muted, Ron.
He's nervous because I'm on.
Yeah, you know what? That's what you see. That's what a real partner does. I ain't trying to steal his shine. That's why I was like, nah, let me hold it down here in the silent tip. No, but anyway, my fault, y'all. Yeah, man. I'm happy that the Knicks did well tonight, and I'm happy that I'm feeling a little better. Because before we actually pre-recorded our show a little earlier tonight, and I wasn't feeling that great, but I feel better now, so that's good.
Yeah, a Knicks win will do that to you, man.
That's a fact.
A Knicks win will do it to you.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have to make some edits?
No. Actually, it went pretty smooth. It went pretty good. We're gonna hopefully air it as long as the processing works right after this. So you guys stay tuned.
All right. Well, you just keep us updated throughout the show, and we'll make sure we get off and send everybody right to it.
Oh, nice.
That's what we're trying to do.
Appreciate that. That'll be dope.
First things first, let's talk about RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett tonight, 31 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. Great game for RJ Barrett. Matter of fact, I'll just go ahead and read down the box score. And then, we can break down a couple of things. Again, 31 points from RJ Barrett, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. Evan Fournier, he's starting to shoot well and play well. Maybe we're getting the Evan Fournier that we bargained for. 18 points tonight, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Alec Burks, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Mitchell Robinson, 13 points and 11 rebounds, 4 blocks. Emmanuel Quickly, 12 points. Julius Randle, only 2 points tonight, only 7 shots. A lot of storylines to get to. In this game. Let's start with RJ Barrett, 31 points. Tony.
This feels like the best game of his career to me. He didn't have to close out the game.
Right.
Like he put up those numbers and didn't close out the game.
Right. Obviously
this might be the best game of his career.
Because the Knicks.
This might be the best team game of the season too. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is definitely the best team game of the season, as far as I'm concerned. I think it's the best team game of the season, even though Julius Randle didn't really score the basketball. But we're seeing RJ. I really do. I think the time that RJ really had to take the mantle when Julius Randle was out helped him a lot.
Yeah.
To have that mentality to say, I'm the guy out here on the floor. John, what do you think
That's exactly right. Exactly how you said it. It's almost as if Tibbs has come to the realization that he can play off of RJ Barrett as a first option, if not a first option, a second option, you know what I mean? Depending on who got it going at any moment, you know what I mean? And I think they did a great job of keep feeding him the ball and being able to play off of him and him playing off of others, you know what I mean? So I really like this. And again, I agree with you, Sam. This is sort of like we haven't seen this team play like this since probably a preseason game where they were sharing the rock, you know what I mean, a lot more. It goes to sort of, it's a testament to the work that they put in. I just want to say it like that, Evan Fournier has been talking about consistency, and that's what he's striving for. And I think all of the Knicks in general are striving for the same consistency. They're just really trying to play off of each other and try to figure each other out. And I think they're getting into that momentum. And actually, I think that Randle sort of taking the bullet for this team and sort of coming out and saying, hey, let's quiet the noise. I think he's showing them that, I got y'all back regardless if I have to take the heat. And that's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, and you know what? Me and Tony was talking about that the other day, that I felt like what Randle said to the media publicly was the mantra of the team. I think the players were kind of saying that to themselves in the locker room, like, they can shut the F up. Right. We're going to do what we got to do. Let's focus on us. Because we heard just a couple of games ago, RJ Barrett say it to a fan personally. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, Julius Randle said what he said, and I do agree that I think it made the locker room say, okay, he got our back. He said it. We're gonna come together as a team. We're not just gonna let him fall on the sword. You know what I mean? And you heard him say a couple of things in the press conference when they were asked, about how he plays hard every night and so on and so forth. But, RJ Barrett, we seen him tonight, Ron, a couple of times in the post, create a double team, swing it across court, kick it out. You know what I mean? And guys hit open shots or it create a hockey assist or whatever it did, kind of being in that Julius Randle role. And if we can have two guys that are able to do that, that makes this offense that much more dangerous. Now, it's got to be consistent, but it makes this offense more dangerous if we got two guys that can do it. What do you think, Ron? I mean, do you think it's coming along? Is it happening? Can it be consistent?
Yeah, man, this is what I've been hoping for all year. I've been saying it like I want RJ to be able to have the ball in his hands, not just on the corner for a spot up jumper. I want him to be able to have the ball in his hands at different points on the court so he can kind of orchestrate and he can get his own shot if things aren't working. Because when you put him in the corner all the time, expecting him to knock down a three, you basically limiting him. The defense is just expecting him, RJ's in the corner guy. We know we got to press up on him, but that's all he's giving us. When you put him out in space, he's so much more effective. And this is the thing I said between, Randle and RJ. We've noticed it. I mean, tonight it didn't necessarily work too much for Randle's favor, but in that Indiana Pacer game, we saw where RJ was the main option and people were playing off of him. Julius still got his points. I think Julius just didn't have a good shooting night tonight. Right. But I still think that can work easier than when it was everything being fed through Randle. I think that was a little tougher. Plus, sometimes Randle's decision-making with the ball is not as great. I think RJ, the more time you give him a chance to keep having the ball in his hands, I think he makes really good plays with it. Plus, he did it all through high school. He did it while he was at Duke. So it's something he should be good at. And I think we got to give him a chance to see what he can do.
Okay. You were just talking about Randle. What do you take from Julius Randle only scoring 2 points tonight, but the Knicks still scoring 111 points for the game? Randle took 7 shots. He was 1 for 7 from the field. He did have 12 rebounds. What do you have? 12 rebounds. He had 3 assists, 1 block. He did have 3 turnovers, but you come to expect that from Julius Randle. You know what's going to happen. What do you take from that? He was a plus 16. Look, I will say it, though. I'm not a big person on the plus minus at all. You know what I mean? Because it all depends on, in my opinion, who you're on the floor with. And obviously the Knicks were winning tonight. So, you know, you're going to have a positive plus minus for the most part. A couple of guys did have a negative plus minus. But he did have he was a plus 16 tonight. What do you take from that as it pertains to the team, not just Julius Randle? But, you know, speak on Julius Randle, but also as it pertains to the team.
Well, I think that personally, I like the fact that Julius didn't have his shot going and didn't force it. He took 7 shots. He didn't feel it was you know, working for him tonight. But you know what? He didn't force it. He allowed everybody else to get theirs, and everybody got theirs, and they won convincingly because of it. And Julius just did what he does. He's got rebounds. His assist numbers were a little lower than we normally expect from Julius, but I think that's a product of the fact that he didn't have the ball in his hands as much as he usually does, you know, so because the game kind of flowed through RJ. And I think that is a testament to the game being orchestrated through RJ, because Julius didn't have a good game and they still put up 111 points. Julius scored, was it 2 or 4 points?
2 points.
2 points.
2 points. He made his first shot of the game.
Right.
Got a couple of cheers. Wasn't able to make a shot since.
Wow. I mean, well, I think so. Looking at this from different angles, I think that's the biggest thing you could look at it from, that the ball kind of flowed through RJ and everybody else on the team was able to still be productive and have a good sense of flow. They had good pace, and Julius didn't force the issue. Now, on the flip side of it, maybe Julius was in his head thinking he was going to get booed. There's a lot of controversy. He might have been stressing out a little bit and couldn't really focus on just playing basketball.
Maybe.
Hey, if that's him stressing out, I'll take that every night, because what he put forth in the defensive side of the ball, listen, I'll take that every night. Hey, get some rebounds, get some hustle plays going. I've seen a lot of deflections. I've seen him being engaged and aggressive. That's the kind of Randle we want. And if he continues to do that, ain't no Knicks fans gonna hate on him. Ain't nobody gonna worry about how many shots he missed. We're gonna be really focused on how engaged he was and how he hustled and how he rebounded and how he did all the other things. Because inevitably he's gonna score points. You know what I mean?
Right.
Agreed. But some people are gonna hate on him. Believe that.
Yeah. You might be right.
Read the comments. You'll see.
Okay.
I was going exactly where you went. His defense was there today. His effort was there today. He was rebounding the ball. I thought he had more than 3 assists, because I felt like he had 3 assists in the first half, and I thought they was wrong when the announcers said, you know what I mean, he had 3 assists. So,
right.
But he was dishing the ball. He got more hockey assists as well.
Right.
If that counted. So he played a good game overall. The best team game by far, I think. And it's great to see. I remember last year I said, after Randle wasn't playing well for a couple games, that maybe this is the best thing for the team, to figure out how to win games without him being the leading scorer, without him getting it, like him having a bad offensive game and they still figuring out how to win.
Yeah.
Because that's only going to help the team moving forward.
Yeah, no doubt. Let me do my Julius Randle impression really quick and make the fans feel good. You know, because that's what I think the apology letter was. Let me make the fans feel good real quick. Michael Peterson said, "You're not a big person on the plus minus, but you bring it up when mentioning Randle." Okay, so let me mention Emmanuel quickly. Yeah, he had a plus minus. His plus minus was 17. Taj Gibson's plus minus was 11. Alec Burks' plus minus was 13. Mitchell Robinson was a plus 10. RJ Barrett was a plus 11. So now I mentioned everybody with their plus minus who had a positive plus minus. I'm not going to mention the negative guys because,
not one of them.
I don't want to hurt the fans' feelings. I don't want to hurt nobody.
Man, I wanted to know. Now I gotta look it up.
I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. And I see my man Greg said, "Oh, we're making excuses for Randle." What excuses are we making for him?
Good.
He shot the ball bad.
Right.
What kind of excuse can we make for him because he shot the ball bad? Did we say he was stressed out. I mean, I think it makes sense to say, you know, maybe the whole Boo Gate thing got to him, you know, for tonight. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. He didn't shoot the ball well. Enough said. But he did other things.
Right. But did they boo him? Because I didn't really hear it.
Nah, he didn't really get booed tonight. I think in the beginning he got a little bit of boos, you know, mixed with some cheers. It wasn't really anything major.
It wasn't glaring. Yeah. It wasn't the spotlight.
I expected it to be. But it wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't.
And to that is sort of, I mean, some people would be like, yo, you know, it wasn't the right crowd, you know what I mean, to come out and boo him. But I don't know, man. I think the media made more of it than it needed to be. Yeah. They were hoping that it could be, you know, more to it. But I think the fans, we as in general, the majority has his back and understood why. Yeah. You know what I mean? But again, you play poor, you're gonna get booed. That's just what it is in New York.
Yeah.
You know, and I just think he was engaged in this game, in my opinion. I seen him rebounding, I seen him playing aggressive. He didn't hit no shots. So it's just my opinion. I like players who hustle. And if he put in the hustle, I'm riding with him. Yeah,
B-baller for real. So let's talk about how bad Todd sucks. He only scored 4 more points than Randle. He's a bum. I'll say this. Taj Gibson had a plus minus of 11, a plus 11. Now he was a plus 11. So take that about Taj Gibson. How about that? Speaking of the foremen, though, power forwards, Obi Toppin tonight played 14 minutes, really got his minutes kind of, you know, the end of the game when he got pulled out at the top of the third, I believe it was. 9 minutes left in the third quarter, he got pulled out. He wasn't happy about it, right? I seen him walking to the bench, shaking his head. What's going on between Obi Toppin and Coach Tibbs, man? You know, what's happening? What's up? Because last year you didn't see, obviously he was a rookie, you know, right. So he's going to be cool. This year, you're seeing the feelings come out, you know, because he feels like he should be on the floor. He feels like he's gotten better defensively. He probably feels like he's doing the things that coach wants him to do, but clearly Thibodeau doesn't believe. So, believe it. You know, maybe Tibbs feels he's just one-dimensional. He's just an athlete. You know, obviously Julius Randle brings some things that Obi Toppin isn't at this point in his career. Right? But the relationship isn't looking good to me between the two. Go ahead, Ron.
I don't like it, man. You know why? Because we are in trade season. You know what I mean? Like this is just an excuse for them to get Obi up out of here. Like I'm not saying that's why the strain is happening between Tibbs and Obi. I just think that there's a lot of frustration going around with everything that's happening. And Tibbs is looking for a certain type of defensive output from his players. And right now, Obi's not bringing it. But I also think that what Tibbs is not getting, and I don't think I'm far-fetched when I say this, if you expect me to do certain things on the court and I make a mistake and you yank me out and you only playing me 9 minutes, you're not giving me enough of an opportunity to go out there and impress you. That's how I look at it.
I agree.
So I think he's killing Obi right now. And it's starting to affect Obi. It's bringing him down because, if anything, Obi had been trending upwards. Then he went on the health and safety protocols. He's come back, and ever since then, things have slowly regressed. They've gotten worse, and I don't know why he's in his doghouse. It's just like, Miles McBride is in Tibbs' doghouse too. For whatever reason, maybe they're showing things that he doesn't like. It's not happening to all the other players because they're getting minutes. Grimes is still getting some minutes here and there, depending on the matchups. I just think he's not happy with Obi's effort on the defensive end, and because of that, he's not giving Obi any love. So, Obi can't even he's basically he's Kevin Knoxing him right now. He's giving him the Kevin Knox treatment.
Tony, he's about to say something.
I disagree. I think he does get an opportunity. I think if he messes up, he as long as he knows why he's being pulled, I don't think there should be an issue. If he doesn't know why he's being pulled, maybe he should try to figure that out. And if there's lack of communication that way, then there's a problem. But he's young. There's things he can't do on the floor. I take him very similar to what people told me about Mitchell Robinson. And I love, I love Mitchell Robinson. I love Obi too. But they say he's limited in what he can do effectively. And it's hit and miss. Right. One day he might be hot and figure some things out, but the next game he may not. He can't be relied upon. So if Tibbs sees something, I trust Tibbs. I'll say that.
Yeah, and see, I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? I don't know what Tibbs is saying to him in the locker room or, on the bench anytime, what kind of conversations they're having. But I would like to see him get a chance to make a couple more mistakes before he pulls him out. Because I think when a player travels one time and you pull him out the game, that starts to hurt the confidence, I feel like. When another player, and I'm not even talking about Julius Randle, Obi Toppin, Alec Burks, Emmanuel Quickly, whoever can make 3-4 mistakes, take a couple of bad shots before Coach Thibodeau blows his top. So there has to be something that Thibodeau is asking him to do, and he's just not doing it or can't do it, and Thibodeau's not happy about it. But I would like to see him get more of a chance to fix the mistake. You make a mistake and then fix the mistake while you're on the floor instead of just getting yanked, immediately. Because I think it's hurting Julius Randle too. Right? You bring Julius Randle back in with 9 minutes, 9 minutes left in that third quarter. Now he's got to play the entire third. Right? I was talking about earlier with Josh and caller Reg that called in about how Tom Thibodeau distributes the minutes. I don't really care about how many minutes some guys play, but how they're distributed. When you're asking Julius Randle to play 10 straight minutes, 12 straight minutes, I think he gets tired. And Obi Toppin is the guy that can come in for him, but then, when you automatically, bam, I'm pulling Obi out.
Right. He has a short leash on him, for sure.
And then the only other person he's bringing in is Randle. It's not like he's bringing in Knox for a couple minutes. So I think it's hurting Randle and maybe Obi. I'd like to see him, just have something that's going to be consistent. Give him a consistent 15. Just let it be consistent, even if he's making the mistakes. Unless, obviously, the game is so tight that you just can't do it. I get that part of it, but go ahead, Tony.
Just a couple of points of what you said. The people that you named when you said, Tibbs is not doing it to these guys, all of these guys have affected the game in the point where they changed the game around for us. You know what I mean? They went on personal scoring bursts or, kind of took over the game for moments and things of that nature. With Obi, that's something that we haven't. I think we're a far away from seeing from him. So I understand the shorter leash with him, because even on the best plus side, he's not gonna affect the game the way a Burks, a Quickly, so a lot of these other guys who can take over the game for 5 possessions at a time or whatever the case is. So I get it. So it's the little things, whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but that's what's going to keep him on the floor. Right. We've seen him play minutes and be productive, or play minutes and not be productive, but get the minutes. So whatever it is that he's doing, or you know what I mean? Like, he just has to fix that. I think it's simple as that. And then you brought up Knox, which I also was going to bring up, because maybe, and I hate to say it, or I hope for not to be true, but maybe he's on the brink of, moving him down to that situational and moving Knox up. And that's another reason why, because you've seen that last year when that happened to players, this is the kind of thing that was happening. Short leash, you know what I mean? Like no second chances, you know what I mean? Like minutes diminish. And so it was a slow process into getting into situational, and then obviously it's an even slower process to get
back in
out of it. To get
back in the lineup.
That could be what we're seeing, maybe, because people are arguing Knox hasn't gotten a fair chance under Tibbs. So maybe it's tipping the other way, and then we'll see Knox get his chance, and then if he produces, he'll get more of a chance. If not, it's right back to Obi or something like that.
Yeah.
But again, I trust Tibbs. We was having these same type of discussions at this point last year, and coincidentally, we're at the same exact point we were last year. So, I mean,
I want to say it's weird because this could be a case that of personnel, right? We remember when we had our bench filling in the roles that they were playing in the past. So with Rosen, Burks coming off the bench, it's sort of and quickly off the bench, it all played sort of naturally for Obi Toppin to be that rim runner, to be that guy who gets out in a fast break, And right now we're sort of caught in between. We're short personnel, so we're sort of mixing and matching. So I think a part of Tibbs' decision may be possibly personnel, who he sees on the floor and how he feels like they're meshing or not meshing, right? And also, when you look at someone like Obi, it's like, hey, on the defensive side, find a body to box out, because I see it all the time where you're going up and you're not finding a body to box out. And that's just like 101, you know what I mean? Like, you got to know that. You got to get a rebound. You got to be the guy who's going to attack the rim and get the boards and be there, as a support system. And that's partly why Randle gets a little bit more minutes than Obi does, because he's a stronger rebounder at this point in his career.
Yeah. And, I was just going to ask, do you think Obi's play and his minutes right now are related to that second unit being kind of disbanded because there's so many players down? In that second unit, you got guards. Well, Derrick Rose was out there, Emmanuel Quickly, that were looking for him, finding him, got their head up while he's beating the defense down the floor. Right. You know what I mean? And it's not there now.
Right. And again, I'm sorry, Tony. But again, he's coming in, and certain guys, like, he isn't able to play the same sort of minutes, and he's not getting the same sort of touches either. Like, he's not involved in the pick and roll, and he's not rolling to the basket. He's rolling or he's actually screening and then popping out for a three. That's not his game. So
no
he's
doubt.
not comfortable shooting that three.
Yeah, no doubt.
I think it started with Derrick Rose. Last year, he was the first guy really getting Obi involved and seeing his best minutes with somebody. It developed with Quickly. So I had brought up this argument earlier when we were debating whether Quickly should continue to start at point guard, and I was thinking that that takes away from Obi's production because they developed that kind of chemistry. And we've seen it a little bit with Burks, but not like we've seen it with Quickly, not like we've seen it with Derrick Rose. So I agree 100%. I think he kind of needs those guys to feed off of and to get fed. And it's back to my point of he's not at that point where he can affect the game on his own. You know what I mean? Right. Like, and one of the ways for him to do that is like box out, get the rebound, like Randle did today. As much as I don't want it to be like me cheering Randle on, but as bad as he played today, 7 shots, 2 points, 1 for 7. He did other things that affected the game that warranted him staying in. I believe if Obi does that, he'll get more of an opportunity.
I would like to think so as well.
The only thing I don't know and I haven't really been able to quantify it, is how much consistent minutes does Obi get? We know he's playing he in the last 3 games he played 9 minutes. Tonight he played 14 minutes. But how long was he actually in the game? Because if you're in the game 2-3 minutes, you can do a little something, but you can't affect that much change. Whereas some of these other guys are playing 5 or 6 minute stretches. And I just think for Obi, we already know that he's limited into certain aspects.
Listen,
you got to give him more consistency.
I'm sorry, but your mindset has to be you can affect every single play that is happening while you're on the floor. So if there's 4 plays in your 2 minutes, then you could affect 4 plays. If there's 6 plays in you know what I mean? Like you could affect every single play. You box out, like do something. Good screen.
You're right about that.
Like you can affect every single play. If that that's on the floor.
And there's
on the floor.
There's no to what you're saying. There's no real reason why Obi could be in a screen and roll situation and not take the option for himself to, like, if they're overplaying the pass, hold it, keep it, drive to the basket, get that first step. You have a quick first step, utilize it, attack the basket strong. He hasn't really done that. He's preferred to like circle back and complete the pass. Yeah, and it's like, yo, if you're hesitant on an offensive end, I can't use you. That's as a matter of
that's one of the issues that Obi has. He's afraid to go outside of what the play says to do, or
right.
That's you know what I mean. He's afraid to do that, and maybe it's just how he's been trained or taught. I don't want to say trained, but taught. You know what I mean? And he's afraid to go outside of it. If his number isn't called,
right,
he's not going to call his own number. And I think sometimes, although coaches put in plays and Tom Thibodeau has these sets and that sets, he expects that a player is going to call his own number when he sees the chance. And Obi doesn't do that. Obi's going to stick. He's going to stick with whatever is happening. And I think he does it to his detriment. Chris Dudley, he said, the bottom line is Tibbs is not into developing players. It's sad. I just disagree with that, right? Just because your favorite player doesn't play doesn't mean he's not into developing players, because Mitchell Robinson is young. R.J. Barrett is young. Emmanuel Quickly is young. Quentin Grimes how many minutes did Quentin Grimes get tonight?
Right.
He's a rookie. He is a rookie. He got 28 minutes tonight.
He played well.
I mean, come on.
He played well.
I get it. Jericho Sims, Miles McBride, Obi Toppin, they're not getting a lot of minutes. I mean, Obi still had 14 minutes tonight. But when you talk about a rookie getting 28 minutes, Manuel Quickly's in his second season, 25 minutes. R.J. Barrett's in his third season, 30 minutes. Mitchell Robinson, what's it, third or fourth season? I mean, half of our roster are young players.
Right.
And, Tom Thibodeau. So that narrative to me, I think, has been canned.
And how many minutes Randle played today? Less than his norm, right?
Randle played 30 minutes today.
30 minutes?
Yeah, 30 minutes today. I'm going to get to this phone call in just a second. Let me get to one more. Let me get to the super chat here. Nikki B from Harlem. He said, Obi is limited. He can't shoot, pass, dribble, rebound, defend. He has no bag and is competing with Julius and Taj for minutes. What else can Tibbs do?
Oh, so he's trying to play a good bounce.
I mean, Taj he's not supposed to be competing with Taj for minutes, for real. Taj Gibson is supposed to be situational, but he does things that I guess Tibbs just doesn't feel Obi can do. Set good screens.
He affects the games.
Yeah, that's true. He affects the games. He affects the games. And in a pinch, Taj will probably give you a bucket if you give him the ball in the post. Although he missed a layup today, I was a little bit upset about in the first half. But, because I don't expect Taj to mix that. But
those are old legs, man.
Yeah, I hear you. But Nikki B, I appreciate the super chat, man. Let me get to the caller. Spree, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
Salute, Tim. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm feeling good.
Hey, you got an all-star panel. You got John, Ron, and Tony. This is all-star level here.
That's what we trying to do, man.
Hey, man, I got a couple things here. Number one, I'm not saying you guys are saying this. I'm seeing a lot of hate for Randle on Twitter, and maybe I'm missing something here. I thought he played well. But, I mean, he had 12 rebounds. He played really good defense. And he drew attention when RJ had it cooking. He played within the flow and let RJ initiate, drawing a lot of attention so RJ could get that space. Maybe I'm missing something here. Are people just judging Randle because he didn't shoot it well?
I think that's part of it. And let me correct myself. Randle played 33 minutes and 45 seconds, not 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and by the way, yeah, the boos died down. I heard boos in the first quarter. I did hear some boos when Obi came in at the end. Look, it was mostly not a lot of boos, but early on in the game, I'm okay with it based off of what happened. I didn't like the boos at the end, some of the boos at the end. It wasn't a lot, Sim, but I did hear some boos at the end when he got out of the game. I didn't like that. I didn't think he deserved to get booed later in the game. I thought he played a good basketball game. That's just me. I don't understand what.
Well, I mean, the Bulls were probably more condescending than like they really wanted to boo him. I think it was more just, hey, I'm gonna boo you because of everything that happened. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I think those boos were probably about.
And that was just the 5 people right next to the mic.
Yeah,
because there's always a group of people right close to the mic that know where the mic is, and they want to be like, they want to make a statement of sorts.
Right.
That wasn't the majority.
Yeah. I just like my whole thing is I'm not saying everybody. There's a lot of good fans, but there's some fans in our fan base, Sim, that feel like it needs to be one guy versus the other, RJ versus Randle. Why does it have to be that way? Why can't we just worry about winning basketball games and get the most out of the team?
I mean, that's the way it's going to be, right? That's the reason why, we brought up and asked the question, how do you feel about Randle only having 2 points tonight, but the team still scoring 111?
Mm-hmm.
Because the team played great.
Yep.
Right? The team played great, and you didn't need for Julius Randle to at least try and muster points, especially on the night when he didn't have it, and it was clear that he didn't have it.
I mean, I thought basketball is you play the game on that day, and every game is different. I thought isn't that how basketball is supposed to be played, where I don't always know where the points are coming from, and you see who has the hot hand, and you play off of each other. I thought that's how you play basketball. Maybe I'm missing something, and it's harder to guard.
Yeah, it's tougher to guard. I mean, you do want to have some kind of bread and butter that if things get tough, this is what I can go here and it's going to work. You know what I mean? And the Knicks are hoping that's going to be Julius Randle. Right now, he hasn't proven it this season. He's had a rough go at it. But the Knicks are supposed to have had more weapons come on the team this season. Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker, who's obviously not playing,
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
So hopefully,
I just want our fans I just want to win basketball games. I don't want to let's get this booing thing over. I get it was tonight. I want Julius to be successful. I like Julius. I know you like Julius, Sam. I think your panel likes Julius. There's a lot of people that don't like Julius. I'm trying to help him get better. I see more in Julius than other people. I think he can improve. I think this was a step tonight. RJ had 1 turnover, Sim. I look at the box score. 1 turnover for RJ. Mitch got to the line 9 times. Is that the most times he's ever got to the line in a Knicks uniform? I'm curious.
It might be, and he was nervous every time he stepped to the line, too. Every time he got fouled, he's like, oh, my gosh. I mean, he was 5 for 9. There was at one point, I think he was 6 for 7 from the line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he shot 55.6% from the line. The Knicks shot better from the line tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we maximized the team. Evan, Burks, Mitch, they all got to cook. I mean, that's what the whole purpose. It's harder to guard. I like that Mitch got to the line because I don't remember. I really do think I'm curious if that's the most. But Quickly had 6 assists. So all the things that we talked about, RJ, can he create without turning over the basketball? Only 1. Quickly was more of he got going, he got his scoring, but he also gave me 6 assists. So all the development I thought we saw brought out tonight. And I'll just leave you with this, man. Julius Randle, in my opinion, played a good basketball game. I don't think he didn't shoot it well, but yes, you're right, Sam. There are going to be times where we need absolutely Julius Randle to score the basketball because he is our guy. but RJ had it going. So I'm not going to hate on Randle tonight. That's just me, man. That's just the way I look at it. I'm not saying I know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying I don't think tonight is a night to hate on Julius Randle for going 1 for 7. That's just me.
I don't think so either. Obviously, there's going to be people, there's going to be people that say he sucks. Trade him, this, that, and the third,
But let's not get it
What are you gonna
twisted,
do?
though.
What are you gonna
The honest truth is, I think everyone in this panel and in general, if there was a comparable trade to be made, that would send Randle elsewhere, and you get a good return for him, folks may be able to take it. I'm not against it. I just know that he's the best player that we have right now on our roster. You know what I mean? And if we're gonna ride with him, then let's ride with him and build around him. If we're not,
then we're not.
Then it is
Right.
what it is.
I mean, listen, I'm willing to trade anybody on the roster for the right move. I'll trade anybody for the right move.
Yeah,
exactly.
Anybody. So, yeah.
I just think Julius Randle, I'm not even just basing off of last year. I think he's trying to do the right things. When he tries to do the right things and plays hard, I got no issue. And yes, the body language, I need to be positive. I look at body language. Some people think that's crazy. Don't look at body language. But if you play basketball, when you play with other people and you're the leader of the team, you need good body language. But I just think if he plays the way he should on that given night, and it could be different. Like tonight, RJ had it going. I will not criticize him. That's just me. People look at it different, but that's all I got, man.
Yeah,
I think tonight was good. That's all I got.
I'm with you, Spree. I'm with you. I'm with you all the way there.
All right. I mean, listen, the Knicks played a good game tonight, and people are gonna say, "Well, Randle apologist, this and that." You know what? You can go back and look at it. We've gotten on Randle just as much as we've gotten on anybody else. It is what it is. Let's talk about Evan Fournier, as we could talk all night about Julius Randle, right? Let's talk about Evan Fournier tonight. 18 points. He didn't play in the second game versus Boston, but in the first game he had 41 points, coming off of a game where he had 0 points. But before then, he's getting better. He's finding his way. I think he's beginning to find his way, and he's doing a little bit more. I think he had 5 rebounds tonight. This is what I've been asking for this from this guy. If you're not going to score, find a way to do something else out there on the floor.
Affect the game.
Affect the game. 5 rebounds tonight, 2 assists, 2 steals. Do you think, Ron, I'll come to you. Do you think Evan Fournier is beginning to turn the corner for the Knicks?
I think so. I think that last game against Boston was a little different from other games where he played very well against that team. I think this was the best we've seen him, and he was cooking. And I think that just really helped him build his confidence as far as, those are shots he's been trying to make all year. And for whatever reason, they haven't been going in. And I think that kind of really helped him get back into a groove. And as long as, you could see in this game, they tried to make a concerted effort to get him going. There was, they were doing that dribble handoff that I hate. Julius was trying to get him, so they were trying to get him open. So, and I think as long as they continue to do that and feed him all over the court, so he has different looks at the basket. Yeah, I think Evan might start to give us what we expect from him. 18 to 20 points a night. Sometimes it could be better. Maybe he'll have a couple stinkers here and there, but I think he's due to get to a level of consistency. Because when we first got Evan, I took a look at his numbers, what he did for Boston, and I also took a look at what he did prior to that. And he has levels of inconsistency throughout the season. It's just with the Knicks, for whatever reason, it's been a longer stretch. So I expect him to get going.
I hope so. We need him to. Tony?
I hope so too, man. We need him. We need him. And I was a fan of his coming in. I thought he was a versatile scorer. He's starting to show it. Let's hope he can continue it.
And
Andy will be proud.
he will.
Right.
John, do you think the Knicks are doing anything different for Fournier, or is he just hitting the shots?
I think they're doing the same thing they have done all season. I think he's just getting into his own groove. He's trying to find a way to affect the game, as Tony is saying. and he's just it's just going to happen over a time period within a season, right? We're talking about 82 games. Where are we at now? Like 45, almost 50?
41 games.
41
games,
41,
right?
halfway.
So we're halfway. So this is the time where you consider professionals or, professional players really get into their rhythm and really find their way in an offense, in a defensive structure. I just think it's bound to happen. I just want to be able to see more consistent play from him, and he has to hit those open 3-pointers. I mean, there's no ifs, ands about it. That's what we brought him in for. If other teams are collapsing on Julius Randle or RJ Barrett, he is out there for the kick out. He's got to drain those when he's open. Same goes for Burks too, because they're both sort of inconsistent with their 3-point shooting, at least this year. At least that's what it looks like. I don't really follow the percentages that closely, but it really looks like that. So I think if they can knock them down consistently, and Fournier continues to sort of do that pick and drive, with the handoff, enters the paint, he'll have some options for a kick out as well. I think we're going to be fine. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, okay. Shout out to Julian Tran. Thank you for the super chat. He said, it's not about hating on Julius Randle. It's about being concerned. Knicks fans are in Randle's head. Boogate isn't going anywhere. Let's hope not. That's definitely a concern. If Knicks fans are in his head and it affects his play, that's a problem. That's a big problem. You know what I mean? I don't think you can determine that from tonight. He took 7 shots. I can guarantee you San Antonio's defense was geared to try to take Julius Randle out of the game and see can anybody else beat you. The Knicks did. RJ Barrett did. He dropped 30 the first game, 32 in the first game against San Antonio, and had 31 tonight. You know what I mean? So all we can do is wait and see. If the Knicks fans are in his head, that's a problem. That's a big problem. You know what I mean?
And we can't overlook Mitchell Robinson's, winning his matchup and the sort of effect he had in today's game. Yeah. He out-rebounded, the other center. Spurs center. You know what I mean? And Pirtle. Yeah, and you know what I mean? He out-rebounded him. He outplayed them. Mitch doesn't generally score double digits in points. He did that off of rebounds, off of, lobs or whatever, putbacks. And those are some of the in-between game, like you would expect Randle to grab some of those as well. But Mitch was all over it. So can't overlook that as well.
Mitch was balling today. We need Mitch to do that against
every
teams.
Day.
Yeah, like the Celtics. That's really physical and tough. We need him to do it against those teams.
Right.
But again, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead, Ron.
No, I was going to say, which was kind of surprising. And I think Pirtle helped Mitch because in the first quarter, Pirtle was kind of throwing Mitch around a little bit. So I think that got Mitch into the game.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks defeated the Spurs 111-96. 49 rebounds for the Knicks, 43 for the Spurs. We talked about it in the game preview that the Knicks needed to win the rebounding battle. They did tonight. They held the Spurs to just 19 assists. This is a team that's averaged their last 5 games, they're averaging 26 assists. I think they averaged like 28 on the season. The Knicks defense held it to 19, while the Knicks had 23 assists. 7 steals for both teams. 7 blocks for the Spurs, 9 for the Knicks. 10 turnovers for the Spurs. The Knicks 15. Spurs only shot 41% from the field. The Knicks shot 48.8%. The Spurs shot 27% from the three-point line. The Knicks shot 40%. Spurs only 66.7% from the free throw line. And the Knicks shot 75% from the free throw line. 48 points in the paint for the Spurs, 34 for the Knicks. Second chance points, 13 for the Spurs, 8 for the Knicks. Not many fast break points throughout the game. 7 for the Spurs and 6 for the New York Knicks. But my question from these numbers, another team that the Knicks held to 96 points or below 100, right? They held the Spurs to 96 points, even though they lost to the Celtics the other night. They held the Celtics to 99 points. Do you think the Knicks defense has come around? Tony, I'll start with you there.
It's not to the peak of last year, but I think it's becoming consistent. And it's so crazy how similar this team is to last year. Because a lot of the time we was talking about how much we needed offense. And I think it's all gonna fall right into line by the end of the year. I think we're gonna end up being a decent defensive team, not top 5, but maybe tinkering around 10 to 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're gonna pull it together. It's that's what Tibbs emphasizes. No matter what, that's never gonna change. So he's gonna get the best out of these guys.
Yeah. Now, of course,
look at quickly.
Right. Of course, a lot has to do with competition. And, we got the whole health and safety protocol thing going on. But going back to Christmas, the Atlanta Hawks only scored 87 points. The Timberwolves, next game, scored 88 points. The Pistons, they scored 85. Obviously, you played 3 teams that are below 500. The Timberwolves, they had a lot of guys in health and safety protocol. The Detroit Pistons, they're the Pistons. Mm-hmm. All right, the Knicks lost to OKC, but OKC only scored 95 points in that game. The Knicks only scored 80. Toronto scored 120. After that, the Pacers, they scored 94. The Celtics scored 105. The Celtics scored 99. And then the Spurs, they scored 96. So you're talking, you got like 2 teams who scored over 100 points in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. The last 8 games, the Knicks have held 6 opponents to under 100 points. That's not bad. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And at one point prior to this, I think we held the teams to under 90 the most this year.
Right.
Oh.
That's pretty good. Ron, what do you think, Ron? Is the defense coming around? And is there something that you think we can, because we haven't been able to do it this year, but that we can start to rely on again?
Yeah, it looks like it's been happening. Because when we kind of talk about the Knicks and what they're doing in these post-game shows, you're noticing, because every time you look at the stats, you're bringing up the fact, Sim, that their defensive numbers are actually a lot better than the eye test shows, and it seems like it's been developing. Like they're getting a little bit more consistent in it. Obviously, they're not going to hold teams to under 90. It's a tough mark to especially when we get into those dog days that are coming very soon. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they're playing good defense relative to who the competition is a big sign. That's a big improvement, and maybe it shows that some of the younger guys like Quickly and Grimes are really starting to understand exactly what they need to do on the defensive end to affect the team. So I see that face, Tony. That's what Obi's not doing face. But yeah, I think they're starting to get more comfortable. I think that it is happening, even though there's so much turmoil with this team. There's so much up and down with the health and safety protocols and people just being out because of injury. They look like they're starting to level off a little bit. That's why a couple days ago I actually thought the Knicks were going to be able to turn things around. And quiet as kept. They've won their last 3 out of the last 4 games.
Quiet as kept is right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're playing better basketball.
Yeah. And listen, the Knicks are 4th in the league in opponents' field goal percentage. Our opponents are shooting 43.9% from the field against the Knicks. They are 14th in the league in 3-point field goal percentage. Opponents' 3-point field goal percentage. Teams are shooting 34.9% against the Knicks from the 3-point line.
We could get better there.
We can get
there
better
are
there.
moments.
Right.
Yeah.
We can get better there. We definitely need to get better there. But, You know, it's not horrible, 34.9%, but last year we were holding teams to like 32%.
Right.
Or something like that.
And that's where we want to be. That's sort of where we want to be. We want to be in that 32, 33 mark area, because that shows that we're actually getting out and you know, attempting to make other people make poor shots. You know what I mean? Like get out there and defend and put a hand up. You know, distract. Contend is what the word I was looking for. Get out there and contend a shot. You know, and we've been late on the rotations a lot this year, and we've gotten beat a lot from the 3-point games from specific teams that like to run, you know, and kick out, you know, which is basically the new NBA.
Right.
So, and our guy, my guy Ali Wise put out here that the Pistons they knocked off the Jazz tonight. So, you know, you can't sleep on any team in the NBA. You know. So.
Yeah.
You got another super chat.
Okay. Yeah. I'll get to that in just a second. What was I gonna say? Oh, also the Knicks are 6th in the league right now in opponents' points per game. Teams are averaging 105 points per game against the Knicks. You know, so while you know, as we're watching and we see a lot of things, it's not as bad. At least the numbers say it's not as bad as it seems. You know what I mean? I mean, when you look at the Knicks are holding teams to 43.9% shooting, right? 4th in the NBA, holding teams to just 105 points per game, 6th in the NBA. That's not terrible. That's not terrible, you know?
Surprising.
Yeah, it is surprising. It is surprising.
It's because of our field goal percentage.
Right.
Like if we raise our field goal percentage, we'll be all right.
Right. If we raise our scoring, we'll be all right. We'll definitely be all right. Let me get to the super chat here. Jamrock, 1975 Jamrock. Thank you for the super chat. He said the San Antonio Spurs average 27.9 assists in their lottery team, and we average 20.9. How? Well, you know, I'm glad you asked that question, because I've talked about this before, right? And when you have a team like the Spurs, you have one guy who is a consistent scorer, DeJounte Murray, right? Lonnie Walker can score a little bit, but he's inconsistent. So guess what happens when you have teams that don't have scorers? They've got to use ball movement and man movement to get each other open. You have to. But when you have a team that can score the ball, or players that can go one-on-one and score the ball, naturally you're going to have less assists. It's going to happen that way. Winning and losing doesn't always equate, or good ball movement doesn't always equate to winning. Clearly, because the San Antonio Spurs are below 500. It doesn't always equate to winning. Now, if you can put them both together where you have dynamic scorers that can go one-on-one and put ball movement together with it, your team is going to be really good. Look at the Golden State Warriors. They can do both. The Phoenix Suns
right there.
Yeah, what'd you say? What'd you say, John?
That's the prime example right there.
Right.
The Warriors.
Right. They can do both. Most teams in the NBA can't do both. Can't do both. San Antonio Spurs, they move the basketball really, really good. They average 28 assists a game. They're 15 and 25. There's way more to the game than just that. They're not that great of a defensive team. You know, they may lack another guy that can go get you a bucket when the game gets tight. You know, there's a lot of factors that go into winning basketball games, not just ball movement. You know, a lot of people say, well, if we move the ball, we're going to do this better and that better. That's not necessarily the case. Would we like to see more ball movement? Of course. I think we had pretty good ball movement tonight, by the way. You know, we still only had 23 assists, but I think we had pretty good ball movement tonight. You know, so It is what it is. Basketball is a funny sport. It's a funny sport. A lot of things can happen in a lot of different ways. Let's talk about some of our injured guys. Well, at least one of our injured guys, Kemba Walker. Right? Kemba Walker's out. Nerlens Noel is out. It's going to change this team a little bit when those guys get back. Starting unit's going to change. Alec Burks probably goes back to the bench while Kemba Walker is starting. That's going to help the bench. Hopefully, it's going to help the starting unit. I think it should. And then when Nerlens Noel comes back, Taj Gibson probably goes back to the bench. I mean, goes back to being situational, and it's it helps the team all the way around. When do you Kemba Walker's been upgraded? He was upgraded today to questionable. They say he's close to coming back. Nobody really knows what this injury is about. You know, if it's just soreness. I mean, you know, soreness goes away after a week if you're talking about soreness. So it's a little more than just soreness. You know what I mean? John, what do you think?
Hey, we knew coming into it that there's a possibility he's going to run into issues with these knees. You know what I mean? That was just part of the flyer, right? We took a flyer out at it. You know what I mean? We took a chance that, you know, he can give us a spark, you know, and game in and game out, give us sort of that that leadership that we're looking for in a point guard. You know, a player who's been around the block, done it all, can share his knowledge with younger players like Quickly and, you know, Grimes and Deuce. I mean, we knew this coming into it. You know, what we didn't really put into question, well, we actually did. I think most Knicks fans did, because we kind of knew that Rose and Kemba were sort of in the same boat, right? We didn't know how long will these two players be able to play on the team for how long of a period of time within a season. I mean, the season is 82 games. It's sort of a marathon, you know? So in my opinion, I just hope he comes back and is as healthy as he can be and provide substantive minutes, you know what I mean? Not overwork him. I'm hoping that Tibbs doesn't overwork the minutes with him and relies on some of what he's learned he has on a bench, you know, playing Grimes a little bit more now that you can sort of rely on him to take some minutes off for guys, rely on Quickly to take on some of the point guard duties, as you see he's done in the last few games. I think Kemba's going to be good for the team. I just don't know whether he's going to be able to hold up for the entirety of the season. I think you're going to have to play him in spots.
Yeah, see, I agree with that. I think you are going to have to play him with spots. The thing that bothers me is that once you get to the playoffs, you know, assuming we make the playoffs, you know, through the play-in or however we get there, is the chemistry with him and the team going to be there? You know what I mean? Yeah. We're missing so many games. And I know we've got to do that with Kemba Walker, but, you know, we got to find ways to get him playing for a long stretch so that they can build that chemistry, because he was here for the first 20 games and the team was, you know, trying to figure things out. Then he went down for 9. Then he came back for 4 or 5 games. Now he's been out for 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
You know, you can't build that chemistry that way. You know what I mean? Ron, I see you shaking your head.
The deal, man, it's just them arthritic knees, man. This is just the beginning. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is the first scare, but this ain't going to be the last scare. We still got another 39 or so games left.
41.
So you're dealing 41?
Yeah, 41 games. 41 games. We're at the halfway point
41.
tonight.
All right, so 39. So 41 games left. So you're figuring that's a lot of time. I don't know how he's gonna be able to hold up. Especially, I mean, let's not forget. I mean, Tibbs is back to his old tricks. He's running these guys ragged. So it is what it is. He feels like that's what he needs to do. That's how he gets the best out there on the court. And he's going to continue to do what Tibbs does. So I guess you could just play Kemba until you can't play him no more.
And mind you, we're gonna have to do the same with Rose too when he gets back. It's gonna take some time with him too. Sorry, I didn't mean to sway off.
I was gonna say the same thing about Rose having to reacclimate himself But Kimber, I think he'll be fine. I think Tibbs. I think this was a good learning experience for Tibbs to see what Quickly could provide. I think he can man those minutes at the one. I think even with Burks picking up the slack at point guard at times, I think he knows he can rely on Burks more. I think you guys are right, though. I think Tibbs has to monitor and adjust those minutes.
Yeah.
Coming back from the stretch of situational and playing 36, 33, 31, 40. You know what I mean? Like all those 38, all those minutes in 5 games straight. You know, that could have killed him right there, especially off the layoff of not playing. You know what I mean? Granted, he was practicing, he was with the team and all that, but just that layoff and then playing that hard, and let's not act like he wasn't performing. So that probably takes a little bit more out of you. So, I mean, performing well, you know what I mean? So that takes a little bit more out of you. So, yeah, we're going to have to monitor it. The fact that we're on a pretty good stretch right now without him, I think that should hold well to let Tibbs know, all right, we don't got to rely on him to play 38 minutes, 36 minutes, and all that.
Yeah.
The guy behind him is adequate enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or the guys behind him.
Right. So, well, you know, we got a good win tonight. We take on the Dallas Mavericks on Wednesday. Any thoughts about that Dallas Mavericks game? That, you know, the Mavericks are playing really good basketball right now. Let me see. The Mavericks, they've won their last 6 games.
6.
They're 22-18 on the season.
Right.
They're balling. They're balling right now. Any thoughts about that game, Ron?
Dallas Knicks. I tell you. Yeah, I think I see the Knicks winning that game because I just think that they're playing really good basketball right now. I like what they're doing. And as much as I see that Dallas is on a nice stretch, I just feel like the Knicks can match up well. There's a lot of retreads over there. And I just think that when it all is said and done, they have a good chance at being able to beat them. Maybe not as well as they beat San Antonio tonight, but it'll be a closer game. But I think they can come out victorious. And I really I want to see how well guys like Grimes and Quickly play in that environment against them, because that should be pretty fun. Like, that's kind of the difference. We don't get to see them too often. So I like to see when the young guys get to play, that actually get on the court, get to play against those teams. Yeah. And I don't know. I wasn't sure. Is Porzingis healthy right now?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's interesting.
I was going to ask what's the over-under or who gets more boos, Randle or KP?
That's good.
Yeah.
I think KP, man.
Maybe.
I hope so.
Maybe. Yeah, right. I hope it's not Randle. You know what I mean? We need Randle to be on top of his game. You know what I'm saying? Well, I don't know. We'll see. Ron, any thoughts on that game? John, any thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it's all dependent on who's playing, right? Like what lineup are they coming in with? Who's going to be on the court? But you know, I'm sort of in agreement with Ron. I mean, I like sort of if all goes well and we are playing defense and keeping people under their average, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be in the game. We just got to knock down open shots. You know, if we're knocking them down and being consistent on the offensive end, which we haven't done so as far as an eye test is concerned, you know, then we'll be in the game and have the opportunity to win the game. Now, are we playing at home or is this an away game?
We're home. As a matter of fact, we are home for a good portion of the next few games. We play Dallas on Wednesday. Then Saturday, we're in Atlanta. And then we're home for Charlotte, Minnesota, New Orleans, and the Clippers.
this is our time to try to get fat. I mean, we got to get fat. We got to get as many wins as we can before we go on the road. Mm-hmm. So, we got to bring the energy. So I'm hoping that we get this win. So I'm going to lean and hope that Tibbs is going to have us prepared, especially defensively. And then on the offensive end, we just got to knock down shots. And we continue to play off of RJ Barrett, how he's been playing in the last few games. I think we have an opportunity to sort of surprise a few teams as we have a few home games. And it's time to, that we win some home games, man. We haven't won enough of them. So
yeah, for real.
Let's see if we can get down to a stretch, you know? So I'm looking for a win. And we all know Doncic is Doncic, you know what I mean? He's going to get his points, but if we can minimize the rest of the team, I don't mind if Doncic, if he's playing, if he goes off for 30, whatever, hold everybody else down.
Yeah. I hear you there. Well, however we do it, we just gotta get out and get a win. However we do it, quiet as kept. Right. Like Ron was saying earlier, quiet as kept. Right. Yeah. We won 3 or 4, but we've won 6 of the last 9.
Look at that.
It doesn't feel like it.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't feel like it, but we've won 6 of the last 9 games. We beat Atlanta on Christmas. We beat Minnesota. We beat Detroit. Then we lost to OKC. And we lost to Toronto. Came back. We beat Indiana. We beat the Celtics. Then we lost to the Celtics. Then we beat the Spurs.
I hope it becomes a thing, because if that becomes a thing, that may become our new mantra. Quiet as kept. And hey, we're in the game. We're in the playoffs, baby.
Right.
I want to hear that.
So
that's the way I like it.
I mean, actually, since December 16th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses. 8-5 since December the 16th. 8-5 since, yeah. I mean, because we went through a really, really tough stretch where it seemed like we couldn't win. Right, early December, late November, early December, we went through a tough stretch. We was going back and forth, and then we couldn't win a game. It seemed like. Then starting on that December 16th against Houston, we've been winning some ball games. So hopefully it continues. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it, but we've been winning some ball games.
I'm looking forward to see who RJ matches up with. And if he has to guard Luka at all,
right?
I think that'll be interesting. Yeah, but I expect us to win. Yeah. I actually might bet on that game.
Okay, Hulk TV. Don't bet on FanDuel. Come on, man. Go to DraftKings or to Thrive Fantasy, man. I've been giving you codes for weeks. I've been giving you codes for weeks. All you got to do is go to thrivefantasy.com or go to DraftKings and use the code NBK. Well, actually, when you go to DraftKings, just go to the link that's in the description, and then you get all the perks. But come on, man. Gonna go to FanDuel when I already got you covered? Unless FanDuel gives me a call, then go to FanDuel. But wait until they give me a call. You know what I mean? Wait until they give me a call. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Ron, John, any news on that podcast?
It's the problem is they give you 15-minute increments, so it's either 11:30 or 11:45. It's 11:30 now, so I have it at 11:45.
You have it at 11:45. Okay, so you got it set for 11:45. 11:45. Still Knicks fans is going to be on it popping. I'm going to go get that link and put it in the chat so you can get there. In the meantime, we might as well listen to RJ Barrett, listen to a little bit of Tom Thibodeau, and then talk about what they were talking about. By the time we finish that, we'll be ready to swing you right on over to Still Knicks fans, ladies and gentlemen. So this is RJ Barrett. All right, let's hear what he had to say about tonight's game. 31 points for RJ. One of his best games as a Knick. And guess what? He's been putting these games together lately. Every other, it's been a few times this season where we've said this is his best game as a Knick. You know what I mean? So let's get it. This is R.J. Barrett.
Tom, for the whole event, play. Looks like in the third quarter, it was on a heat check or something, but you look like you were really going to the rim strong and trying to take a little bit on your shoulders. Do you feel that, or?
I think I was just playing basketball. I was just playing basketball, and that was what the game was presenting, and I'm glad I was able to capitalize.
That early windmill dunk that really got you going. After that, you were just, did that kind of motivate you there?
How could it not? If you got a windmill, how would you be feeling good, right? No, it was it was fun. Definitely got me going, and the team that kept feeding me, and I was able to convert and able to make plays for others as well.
We talked the other day about really this. He's your primary scorer for you guys. When he's got two, do you guys feel like you have to do something to find a way to get him going?
I think, first of all, the fact that we were still able to win this game and win this game big like we did, even without him scoring, says a lot about our team. But also, it's not like he was out there doing nothing. Like, he was grabbing every rebound. He was getting us going on the break. Like, he was playing defense. He was doing a lot for us out there. He was finding us. Like, he really got me going at the beginning of the game too. So, he's doing a lot.
Last time you walked up this court, obviously, was a pretty big moment. Does that kind of thing carry over the next time you come back? Even though you had a road game between, you still have the juice when you get back out here tonight?
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's just the work, the work that you put in every day, the work that we do as a team. Just keep doing that over the course of the season. You're going to start to see consistency, and you're going to start to get good results.
I think you addressed it briefly on the court, but it sounds like the Garden has really been changing your name and nonstop. What do you think when you feel that? Do you feel something's changing for you there?
I think it's cool. I think it's cool. Just first of all, it being the Garden. That's a big thing for sure. But also, I just feel like my work, is starting to show, and I feel like my teammates and I were really giving everything we got out there on the court. So, not even just for me, just to show that like our team, is playing well.
Steve, a mathematical midpoint 41-game mark is the best yet to come. It's still under 500 despite the victory.
What are we, one below, something like that? 41 games. I think a lot's happened with our team. A lot's been happening with a lot of teams in the NBA, and we just got to find our groove and just continue to play like we did tonight. Play hard, play smart, and play together. And then I think we'll start to see some very good results.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the New York Knicks YouTube page. You can listen to Tom Thibodeau, Julius Randle. You probably don't want to. Evan Fournier, whoever it is, you can listen to them there on the Knicks YouTube page. So make sure you go subscribe to their YouTube page. John, anything you heard from RJ there that you like, dislike?
I mean, I like everything he had to say, even to the point where when they asked him about Randle, saying that he did everything he could do, offensively and defensively, offensively getting him involved early in the game for him to get a shot off, looking for him early, and also on the defensive side, rebounding and doing other things. I think, players know what players do. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're out there on the court, when someone is not putting in their best effort. You know what I mean? So I like that he explained that to the reporter, asking him that question, because again, it's almost like people are looking for fool's gold. They expect your main player to score 30 every night. That's just not feasible. That's not everyone's game, to be honest, right? There are certain few players that can do that in and game out, right? Those are your Kobe's, those are your LeBrons, those are your Michael Jordans. You're not going to get that from every player in the league. You know what I mean? And Randle himself is not that sort of player. He can get you 20 from night to night, but he's always going to put that effort in and get you some rebounds. That's for sure. You can count on that.
Yeah. Nah, I feel you. Anybody else want to comment on anything that RJ said?
I just like listening to RJ talk, man. I just like his confidence level, bro. He just has that certain swag about him. You know, we saw it from draft night when he was out there. I never forget. It wasn't draft night. I think it might have been a couple nights after when he was really going through his press run. And he was talking to the reporter. He spoke to him in French. He was like, that was tight, wasn't it? I was like, this dude, man. Yeah, there's something about him, man. I like that guy. He just got a swagger about him. He's confident. He's comfortable. He's not fazed by anything. When Tibbs, try to put him out there on Front Street for not working hard and not putting the effort in the gym like he used to, RJ just takes things in stride, man. He's the consummate professional, and he's the reason why I keep saying that the Knicks need to play through him, because I think he can really be a leader. As he matures in this league, I think that this Knicks team is going to turn into RJ's team. But that's pretty much what I take from it. I just like listening to him talk.
Okay. All right. And two things I want to comment to in the chat. You know what I mean? Antoine Jenkins said, Randle. And then I ain't going to repeat the rest of it. But, this actually is not true what you're saying. We've been talking about so many different players today, right? We talked about Obi. We talked about, some of the rookies. Obviously, we talked about Randle. We talked about Quentin Grimes. We talked about R.J. Barrett. We talked a lot about Mitchell Robinson. We talked about a lot of guys. Obviously, Randle is a major player on this team. So you're going to talk about him every single night. I mean,
who do you want us to talk about?
I mean, you want to talk about someone who keeps bringing up Randle. Let's talk to Greg. That's what I want to talk about. Greg. Every single comment in the chat, Greg, has been about Julius Randle. We trying to talk about other players. So, one person thinks we're talking about him too much. One person in the chat, that's all he wants to do is talk about Randle. As a matter of fact, I went into the chat and asked Greg, is it all you want me to do is talk about Randle? Wait, do you want to talk about Randle the entire show? I don't. But Greg says, what you expect RJ to say about Randle? All I know is it's all lies because Knicks fans see the real Randle. I mean, Greg, I don't know what it is, but, man, every single show, that's all you do is talk about something about this dude.
Who do they want to talk about? They want to talk about Obi? Like, who do they want to talk about? Like, we got very minimal to talk about Obi. He didn't play enough. He doesn't show enough. Like, who else would you rather talk about? Like Deuce McBride? He doesn't see the court. He's young. Yeah, I mean, what do Knicks fans expect?
I mean, we talked about RJ a bunch. We talked about Mitch a bunch, Kemba Walker a bunch, Obi Toppin. Right now, we're going to talk about Evan Fournier. Let's listen to Evan Fournier. All right, so now you're going to hear about Evan Fournier. I hope he doesn't bring up Julius Randle because some people might be mad if he brings up Julius Randle.
They got to blame that on the reporters because they're always asking him about
That's
Randle.
what I'm saying. You know what I mean? This is Evan Fournier, ladies and gentlemen.
Evan, you put together a solid game tonight. Before we even get started, just bring us up to speed on how the leg felt. I know you and I discussed the range of motion before the game.
Yeah, it felt all right. When you have this type of injury, you want to make sure, like I said, that you have the like a good range of motion and that your muscle is activated. Because if it's not, that's where it starts to hold. Not a problem, So it was a good warm up. The beginning of the game was pretty good. I still have a lot of work to do, to be honest, but I'm going to take it one day at a time, and hopefully, it's going to be gone by next week.
Team shot about 40% in the first half, over 60 in the second half. What was the difference in the offense?
I mean, obviously, when you make shots, it opens things up, but it's always the question: are you making shots because you're playing good offense, or are you playing good offense because you just make shots? And I thought tonight was, we passed the ball. We made the right plays, we made the right reads, we were aggressive going towards the rim. Julius made numbers of great passes to shooters, and when you get good looks early, it usually stays like this for a while. and I thought that's what we did tonight. And then RJ got going, and
Speaking of RJ, what did you think of what you saw from him tonight, or what you've seen from him lately? Because he's been playing
Yeah,
some of
yeah.
these games.
Yeah, he's been playing great. The key for RJ, I think, is when he plays within the rhythm of the offense, and he kind of mixes things up in his game. He's very strong driver. Like we all know that he's going to his left one way or another. But when he can switch things up and hit a couple floaters or mid range when he drives, play off the catch. And when they go under, just hit a couple shots, then the defense really doesn't know what to do. So when he does all that and he put it all together, then that gives you RJ that scores 30. So.
And last one for you, but 41 games in the books now. You guys are officially at the halfway point of the season. What's your assessment on where this team is, and what do you want to see for the back half?
Well, I want to think, I want to think with a positive mindset, because we are playing better, but obviously you guys know we've been inconsistent, really inconsistent. We've had some great stretches, some bad ones, but we are very capable, and I have confidence and I have faith in what we can accomplish, because sometimes that's all it takes. As a player, you see one bucket and go in, and then you get on a 10-0 run just by yourself. And as a team, it's the exact same. You get a key win, and all of a sudden, you get on the roll. We've seen that many times with many teams, and I believe it can happen to us. And as long as we keep the right mindset, the right attitude, and we do have guys that care about winning, I don't see why it would not happen.
Was it for you to miss the game in Boston after scoring the 41 points?
Yeah, it sucked. It sucked real bad. But I mean, it's one of those things. There's really not much to say. I couldn't bend my leg. There was not much I could do, to be honest. So I wouldn't have helped the team at all. But more than that, it was disappointing because as a player, it's a challenge. You come off a great game. They're going to be on your stuff. They're going to be aggressive, and it's always a good challenge to see how you react to that type of aggressiveness in defense. So yeah, it was disappointing for sure.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Even though Julius made some nice reads and distributing the ball, do you think for a player of his magnitude, it's sort of hard to accept 2 points in 34 minutes? Do you think that's sort of a difficult thing for him to handle, even if he's helping the team?
Well, we have to do a better job of finding him and giving him the ball in his spots. Because when he does, he makes the right play. He's a willing passer. I actually had no idea he could pass like that before I signed here. But yeah, I mean, for us to be the team that we want, like, of course we need a Julius that's aggressive and that's scoring points, and that's his aggressiveness. It's obviously very good for us. So we have to find ways to get ourselves going and to make sure he gets the ball in his spots so he can play his game. All right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, y'all got mad at us for talking about Julius Randle. Talk to the media people about it. Anything, Tony, that you heard from Evan Fournier that you'd like to point out?
I mean, like he said, man, they capable of putting some things together, going on a nice stretch of wins, and really turning this thing around. We seen it happen last year. I don't think it's impossible this year. You noted how much the defense has improved as of late. Now we need that chemistry offensively to start kicking in and catching up.
Exactly.
And let that hit on all cylinders.
Exactly. And I think that's the key right there. That's it. Let that offense start hitting on all cylinders, and we need it to happen soon because we got a tough stretch coming up beginning January 23rd. Super tough stretch coming up. So we need it to happen soon. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get up out of here. I'm going to send you over to Still Knicks Fans. I put the link in the chat. I'm going to put it in the chat once again. All right, so you can go check out their podcast. It's going to be dope. You already know that. You know what I mean? So make sure that you go check it out. I got it in the chat right now. Click on that link. And I think right now it's probably, counting down to the premiere. So as it's counting down, you get some last words in there. John?
Oh, man, I appreciate you for having us on. Again, having me on. I think this is my first time on. So I appreciate y'all. And this was fun, man. Blessings to all watching. And, look out for us.
Yeah, no doubt. Ron? Muted again.
As always, man. As always, I appreciate you guys. You know how I love the opportunity to chop it up with you guys. Thank you once again for having me, Sim. Always a pleasure to see you, Tony, and to be with my main man, John. So thank you, and salute to the fans.
Appreciate it. And Tony, real quick.
John, welcome aboard. Come back more often, man. It's great doing this with you guys. Still Knicks fan as a duo. Sim, keep doing your thing. Your blackest time.
No doubt.
Go watch Still Knicks Fans.
Make sure you go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. And tomorrow.
Well, they premiered right now.
Yeah, it's premiering right now. Tomorrow at 3:30, we are scheduled to have Jake Fisher from the Bleacher Report come on and talk to us about some, just some things the Knicks might be thinking about as we go into the trade deadline. So make sure you look for the notification for that. And be ready for it, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. We'll be up out of here. Make sure you go check out Still Knicks Fans Podcast. It's starting right now. We out. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.